Yeah, welcome everybody to the press conference, DTM round 7 of 16 of the 2025 season. We are here at the beautiful Norisring and have our 3 winning driver here. So, maiden DTM victory for Jordan Pepper, TGI, team Lamborghini by GRT, very difficult name. So, second place goes to Thomas Preining for Manta EMA, and third place driver is Maro Engel for Mercedes AMG Team Remote. Congrats to all of you 3. So, Jordan, what a week for you. What an amazing 7 days. So last weekend you won 24 hours of Spa with the Grasser crew. So now a genuine DTM race winner. So how does it feel?
Yeah, firstly, thank you. Yeah, it's been a great 2 weeks. Perfect way to bounce back after what was 3 weeks in a row. Obviously, not a good Nürburgring, but nevertheless, just really proud of what we've achieved as a group. Obviously, the same group of guys now for the last 2 weeks. I think the emotions are running high for sure. Just really proud to do it with all of them and to finally get that first DTM win off my back now. Obviously a difficult Zandvoort where we hoped it would happen, but nevertheless super proud. Hopefully the first of many, and just really thankful for everyone. And for sure we get the privilege to drive the cars, but it's especially in our case a great team effort. So much just goes into it with that crew. Coming off a very difficult Spa, physically and mentally for the guys, just to see how they executed this weekend so far has just been incredibly cool and super grateful. So really proud and hopefully first of many.
So you came here to Nuremberg and were instantly quick, scored your second pole in DTM this morning. So it's your first weekend here with a GT3 car. In the past you raced here a Volkswagen, not so similar to your Lamborghini, I would guess. So it hadn't been a problem for you to adapt to this track.
No, I mean, luckily it's only 4 corners, but it for sure helps to be here. I've obviously been here a long time ago. I've done some taxi drives as well here over the years, so it's not a new place to me. And yeah, luckily Norisring hasn't changed. But yeah, it's been a track that's been historically very good for Lamborghini, and I'm glad to keep that run going. We knew coming into the weekend we had a strong package. We knew what we needed to do, and luckily from the first moment when we put the car down, it gave me good confidence, and I think that's key around here. Building each lap, but having the confidence in the car, some minor changes as the track's evolved, but nothing major, which I think is what's helped a lot. And yeah, dream weekend so far. I think tomorrow's going to be a lot tougher, but scored the maximum points today, which is what matters in this long game to the end, and just proud.
So how physically demanding was that race today? You look a little bit like you're coming out of the pool next door to the stadium.
Yeah, a lot easier inside this air-conned room, I think. No, it was tough. Our car is quite hot. We don't have any AC or any fan or anything like that. And yeah, pedal box got quite hot. Still recovering from a blister I had last week, which I had from the previous week. So it's not going so great for the left foot. But yeah, a week off next week. Hopefully it recovers. And tomorrow I'm happy to put it through another hour of pain if we can get some points out of it. And yeah, but for the rest, super cool. Just running on high emotions right now, and probably tonight I'm going to sleep like a baby.
Yeah, one quick word about the race. So it looked you were really unchallenged at the front. So in the beginning of the race there was Terry on your back under a second. So but then you had some quite free air on the top.
Yeah, I think good start. Firstly, that was key, getting to turn 1 first. Slightly outbraked myself, but luckily managed to get away with it. Then Terry and Thomas seemed to have a bit of a fight in the next section, so I could build a gap. And I made a complete rookie mistake in the last corner. Gave them the opportunity again to come back close. I felt once I covered him off there at that point, it was not easy. He pushed me all the way to the point where I think he probably started to suffer being so close to me with brakes or with tires or something like that. And that was the moment when I started to see him suffer, was when I really pushed the maximum through the race leading up to the pit stop. Felt like 10 or 15 quali laps out there in the pit window, just trying to see what we can do. And yeah, built, luckily enough, a good enough buffer. I think these two guys' crews in the pits were phenomenal today. We had a small little hiccup with the right side, but that was luckily all good, boxing a lap later, giving ourselves that overcut advantage. And once it all settled down, just flat out to the end, and yeah, gave it my everything, and was happy to bring it home.
Thank you, Jordan. Moving on to Thomas. Thomas, congrats, second podium in a row. So last race at Zandvoort, you scored also a podium. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your race.
It was great. I think we maximized, which is not always easy to do in DTM. Obviously, starting P4 is not the most comfortable place to be on this track statistically, and in general, I think the start went really well then. I found the gap behind Thierry, so I managed to squeeze to the inside, still on the straight. And then I don't know, it didn't really do much, but they ran each other wide, so I gained another one in turn 1, was P3, then couldn't get close to Jordan and Thierry, and couldn't really pull too much of a gap on Maro, so was kind of stuck where I was for the whole stint. And then luckily Maro pitted before us and exited in front of Thierry. So this opened some strategy options to us, which we pulled, and in the end it worked out perfectly, and we in the end both managed to get past Thierry on track. So very, very happy. I think, as I said, this was the maximum and we need to take the points. So
no chance to catch Jordan at the front?
Did it look like we had a chance?
not really. No. So, okay, thank you, Thomas. Then moving on to Maro. So yeah, you had quite a situation with Nicky, which you just reviewed on the mobile phone. So how was that situation from your side?
Yeah, obviously unfortunate. Something you don't really want to have contact like that on lap 1. From my side, yeah, I made a move down the inside. Then I think we have quite clear rules what you're allowed to do on the brakes and what you're not allowed to do. So he moved over quite a lot, squeezed me to the inside. At that point, I tried to avoid the contact as much as possible. Even ran the inside. It's not really a curb. It's like I think in English you say a sleeping policeman, like. So ein Hubbel.
Banana.
Banana, yeah. So even ran that trying to avoid the contact, but yeah, it just didn't really leave me much space at the apex either. And then unfortunate that obviously spun him around. I was hoping it wouldn't because the contact was more closer to the door than on the rear tire. But yeah, obviously unfortunately spun him around, and a little bit, luckily only a very little bit of damage on our car that didn't really affect the balance or the handling, and the steering was straight, so all this was still pretty good. Yeah.
And then yeah, you also jumped Thierry in the pits. So Winward is known also for very quick pit stops. So how did that strategy evolve?
Yeah, incredible pit stops. But I really just have to pull my hat off to the guys. I think it's a new record pit stop. It was an incredible pit stop, and yeah, the strategy. I mean, we were stuck and started to struggle a bit, dropping back from Thomas. Obviously, the guys in front were far ahead, so we said, okay, we need to try to do something before we lose too much ground. And so we came in, and it worked quite well. I managed to warm up the tires quickly and stay ahead of Thierry, and yeah, managed to pass him as Thomas was passing him, so that was key for us.
So P3, happy with that result, third podium for you this season?
Absolutely, really happy. Full maximum that was possible for us today, so really happy with that. Big thank you to the team. The car was amazing to drive, and obviously massive congrats to Jordan, because you know, he was in a league of his own since yesterday, basically, and he obviously did everything he needed to do today, and so big congrats to him and his team.
Okay. Do we have here questions from the floor?
For sure, Sven.
Okay, thank you very much. Congrats to all of you. Question for Jordan. Did you fear after the pit stop? I can imagine it felt like it takes a long time. Did you fear that that could cost you the race at that moment?
No, not really. I mean, I think putting that one lap later for sure helps you a little bit on the strategy side of things. I saw Terry got compromised from Maro being able to hold him off. For sure, Maro got up to pace quick, but it wasn't as clean air as he had before. So I knew the gap was big enough, and yeah, putting a couple laps later than Manthey and Maro, I knew we were still in a good, strong position. So when I came out the pits, I looked in my mirror, I saw the Grello far back, and yeah, I had reference a little bit from practice how much of a gap I would have, and yeah, as long as I kept it clean, I knew it was all fine. In the moment, it was obviously difficult to see, but at the same time, they recovered really quick. Whatever issue they had, they recovered really quick, and we were able to get it done. So it wasn't too bad.
I was really puzzled already in qualifying because you were in the first group and you managed to get the pole position. Of course, you have this experience from the Volkswagen, but does that help you in any way on this kind of track? Because I can imagine you cannot compare it at all. Huh?
No, if I remember what I did here 11 years ago, it would be a bit crazy. I knew I got a pole back then, but I don't remember much about everything. Obviously, the track hasn't changed, and yeah, the references and stuff are pretty much similar. The lines are all the same place, but driving a GT3 here and a Sirocco are complete two different animals. Yeah, surprised myself as well. I knew it would be tough in Group 1. Bit crazy to be P1 in practice and kind of get put on the back foot directly for Saturday's qualifying, being first group out. But that's the rules. You can't really decide what group you're in. At the same time, I knew if I did everything perfect, we would give ourselves a chance. With 5 minutes to go in Group 2, I thought there's no way it's going to stay like that. Thomas and Nicky at that point were really quick, and yeah, it just seemed like they were probably not optimal to the end, a lot of backing off with traffic and stuff, and maybe that was the difference today. But nevertheless, managed to get it done, and I think starting from pole, there was only one clear thing, and that's to capitalize, and we could get it done today. So very proud of the whole TGI Grass Racing team, crew. Yeah, I think they can be happy and celebrate, and that for sure is something they will do.
This track looks very simple from the layout with only 4 corners. Also, you have the ABS system, which you might think makes life easier, but as far as I understand, this is still a very difficult track. Also, a track also with the brakes are very important. Maybe you can explain a little bit what makes it difficult, or what is the crucial thing.
I mean, for sure, we have ABS traction control, but still to maximize the package to the limit, you cannot just numbly rely on the system. I think you can get yourself somewhere in the range, but to extract it, we have a lot of tools in the car, a lot of playing with the brake bias, with a few different things with ABS settings and stuff like that. And obviously it's influential tools, especially here, with the heat, the degradation of the brakes, the fuel coming out, a lot of things are changing constantly. The track, being a street track, is obviously rubbering up a lot, so a lot of adaptation is required. But yeah, I mean, in a field like this with the best drivers in the world, everyone's maximizing their package for sure, and everyone's trying to get the most out of it. So not to say anything, just yeah, felt comfortable from the get-go, and I think strong from FP1. I think that's made a difference this weekend, keeping that momentum and keeping it into the race for sure. So yeah, not much to say otherwise.
Question to all three of you. Maybe Thomas can start then. Now we have the 40 kph in the pit lane here. Does it make, or how does it make the race different? And was that the right move to introduce that change?
I mean, it changes the race because the pit time loss is higher, so you almost lose a lap. this obviously changes strategy and brings another element into it, but in general, mainly it should be about safety. They believe this increases safety, so I think it's a good move. The only thing is when you have to exit tight and you need to kind of drift out, you cannot drift the other way because you hit 40. So then you stop sliding, which makes it a bit more difficult to get out of tight spaces. But in general, if it improves safety, there should not be any doubt whether it's good or bad or whatever.
Maro or John?
Yeah, after what we saw in Zandvoort, and obviously a lot of close calls, and we can all be thankful that everyone, was okay after Zandvoort. I think it was a good decision and a good move in terms of safety. In terms of the race, I think it still obviously worked fine. It's a bit different, as Thomas just said, but overall, I think it's more the safety concern which really was improved, which was a good decision.
Yeah, not much to add. I mean, obviously slightly slower, even if it's a small amount, makes coming into the box a little bit easier as well. But yeah, for strategy and stuff, a new element. As the other said, if it improves safety as well, I'm all for it. And we have to see what we do at the other tracks where the space is tight, and maybe it's a good move going forward.
Any further questions here from the floor? No, thank you. Then thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.